Oh, nothing like fresh cow's milk, dear. Yes, you have some. Yes, there we go. It's delicious, isn't it? One more sip. What's that? Oh, it's the poppets. Oh, good Lord. Oh, hello, my little poppets, mums and dads, and welcome to story time once again. Yes, well, you just caught Stinky and I sharing a glass of milk, I should say, because we've had quite an exciting adventure over the last couple of days. Stinky and I have been staying at a farm just out of town, and we've had lots of fun. We've been feeding chickens, although that's something that we do most days anyway, because as you very well know, I do have my own hens. I have a lovely hen house in the back garden, but we've been doing lots of things. We've been exploring, and there's all sorts of animals there, feeding the pigs and the little baby piglets, and of course milking the cows. Yes, that's right, I had a go at milking one of the cows. And I'm sorry to say, my dear poppet, yes, it's not funny, Stinky. Well, it was the very first time I had ever milked a cow. Yes, Bo's laughing. I'm not happy about it. The very first time I've ever milked a cow, and Stinky told me that the best way to milk a cow is to climb up upon its back, hang upside down, and proceed with the milking. Well, the cow didn't like it one bit, and it started bucking and moving about and kicking its legs. And anyway, it threw me off. So my leg, my dear poppets, is in a bandage. It's not funny, Bo. What's that? It was funny seeing me fly through the air. Yes, well, it wasn't very funny, Stinky, and I've hurt my leg. My leg, my dear poppets, is in a bandage. And as you can see here, I'm on crutches. That's right, I've got crutches there to help me get around because I've got a dreadfully sore ankle. A very sore ankle indeed. But apart from that little incident with the cow, we did have a rather wonderful time. Can I fly through the air again? No, Stinky, I'm not milking any more cows. I had enough of that. No, I'm not doing that again. You and your bright ideas. I just didn't do it right. Yes, well, I don't believe that's how you milk a cow. You don't climb on a cow's back and hang upside down. The things you tell me. Dearie, dearie me. Well, anyway, speaking of cows, my dear poppets, check out this marvellous story time cake here. A lovely buttercream frosting with some confetti sprinkles and a very handsome cow there on the very top. And of course, to go with our cow sort of theme, today's story is called Belinda the Cow. Look at that, a cow on the front, and her name is Belinda. And thank you, Stinky dear. Well, Stinky, I think you can get comfy after all that farm excitement. And you too, Bo. No, it didn't help that you were laughing. You didn't even help me up, dear. What's that? Bo wants me to do it again. Yes, well, I'm not doing it again. No, there'll be no more milking the cow for me. So the two of you can get comfy and we'll crack on with today's story, all right then? Yes. Oh, milking a cow upside down. Indeed, that's not the way to do it, I'm sure. Yes, those two, I tell you what, my dear poppets, Bo and Stinky, oh, the mischief they get up to. Unbelievable, simply unbelievable. Oh, and anyway, this is called Belinda, and here we go, my dear poppets. Bessie and old Tom live in the country. Well, there's Bessie, the lady there with the great big sun hat, and Tom there, her husband, I do believe. There they are, the two of them there. And what else is happening in that picture? There's a pig, and there's a dog and a cat running by, and a lovely farmhouse in the background there. Early every morning, old Tom works in his garden. There is always plenty to do. He grows cucumbers and carrots. He grows pumpkins and parsley. He grows beetroot and beans and lots of other vegetables. Early every morning, Bessie milks Belinda the cow. Oh, she's milking the cow. She's had better luck than me. There is always plenty of milk. She gives some to the dog. She gives some to the cat. She puts some aside for old Tom and herself. With the cream, she makes the butter for their bread, and the skimmed milk she gives to the pig. Well, there's Bessie there, hard at work, and she's milking Belinda the cow. All the different things that you can do with milk. And milk is delicious, I have to say. I do love a warm glass of milk before I go to bed. That helps you to sleep. Yes, and of course it's wonderful on your porridge as well. One day, Bessie packed her bag, put on her hat and coat, and went to stay with her daughter who lived in the city. She left old Tom to milk Belinda the cow, make the butter and feed the dog, the cat and the pig. Old Tom got up very early. He took the bucket and the stool and set out to find Belinda. Belinda was chewing in the far corner of the paddock. He sat on the stool and placed the bucket carefully between his knees. Gently he put his hand on her teat. "There's a good girl," he said. And he began to milk. Yes, lots and lots of creamy milk. Wonderful. Perhaps he'll have better luck than I did, I don't know, and he is on a stool, my dear poppets. That must be the way to do it. Oh no, things have taken a turn for the worse. Belinda gave one almighty kick. Old Tom flew high in the air and landed with a thud in the mud. Oh, well, he's hurtling through the air, my dear poppets, and he's landed in the mud. Yes, Belinda the cow was not happy about old Tom milking her. Not happy at all. Dear oh dear. Belinda was off and old Tom was off after her. Around and around they went, mooing and trotting. Around and around and around they went, until old Tom was quiet and out of breath. What was old Tom to do? There would be no milk for the dog, no milk for the cat, no milk for the pig, no milk for old Tom, and no butter for his bread. What was old Tom to do? Well, there's poor old Tom there, chasing after Belinda the cow. How on earth he's going to get her back, I don't know, because she is very, very cross. Yes, a cross cow is not very good at all, especially with those horns, and some of them do get quite cross, I'm afraid. He went to the shed and took a rope from the wall. Then he went to his garden and pulled up the biggest, fattest carrot he could find. With these he set out to catch Belinda. Well, there's old Tom there with some rope and a big juicy carrot there, and he's tiptoeing quietly to see if he can catch Belinda. Let's hope that he can catch her, because that dreadful cow needs to be milked. "Moo!" crooned old Tom. "There's a pretty girl. Fat carrot, come to old Tom. There's a good girl." "Moo! Moo!" answered Belinda, as she cautiously, carefully inched towards the carrot. Well, there she is there, my dear poppets. And even though she wants that carrot, that tasty, juicy carrot, she's a little bit wary of old Tom. Yes, she's being very, very careful. "Moo!" bellowed Belinda, as she snatched the carrot from old Tom's outstretched hand. "Oh!" cried old Tom, as he landed with a thud in the mud. Oh, yes, he did. Belinda took off, and old Tom took off after her. Around and around they went, mooing and trotting, Around and around and around they went, until old Tom was quiet and quite out of breath. And there he is there, chasing after Belinda once again, chasing her, because he really does need the milk. Yes, she's too clever, I think, this cow. Now, what was old Tom to do? If he couldn't catch Belinda, he couldn't milk Belinda. And if he couldn't milk Belinda, there would be no milk for the dog, no milk for the cat, no milk for the pig, no milk for old Tom, and no butter for his bread. Yes, that's right, Bo, no butter for his bread. Bo likes butter on toast. It's absolutely delicious. She loves that in the morning. What was old Tom to do? He thought and thought and thought and thought and thought. At last he stood up and strode into the house. And there's old Tom there, sitting there with his thinking cap on, trying to think what to do. How on earth is he going to catch that cow? I really do not know, my poppets. He took Bessie's pink dress from the wardrobe and put it on. The dress was too big, so he took a pillow from the bed and pulled and pushed and stuffed and shoved, until at last the pillow was with him inside the dress. Then he tied Bessie's apron firmly around his middle to hold everything in place. Well, I think I might have a suspicion what old Tom is planning. Perhaps he thinks if he can pretend to be Bessie and dress up as Bessie, then Belinda might come over to him and he can milk her, because she does love Bessie very much. He put on Bessie's big straw hat and he pulled on Bessie's big rubber boots. In this disguise he set out to milk Belinda. Yes, just what I thought. And I wonder if it will work. I don't know. Fingers and toes crossed, my dear poppets, that it will, because that cow really does need to be milked. Belinda was chewing in the far corner of the paddock. She looked up, blinked, and then went on chewing. Quietly, old Tom came closer and closer. He sat on the stool. He placed the bucket carefully between his knees. Gently, he put his hand on her teat. This time, old Tom didn't say a word. Yes, well, there he is there. And look, Bo, my dear, I think he's having better luck this time, because Belinda thinks that old Tom is Bessie. What a marvellous idea, yes. What's that? I should have done something like that. Yes, well, I think hanging upside down was definitely the wrong way to milk a cow. I won't be doing that again, I can assure you. He squeezed. A warm white spray made a ping in the empty bucket. He tried again. Squirt, squirt, squirt. The milk crept up and up until the bucket was full and no more milk would come out. Well, there's old Tom there in his disguise, and happily he is milking Belinda because she thinks old Tom is Bessie. What a marvellous idea he had there. Clever old Tom. Now there was plenty of milk. There was milk for the dog, there was milk for the cat, there was milk for old Tom, and cream to make the butter for his bread. There was even plenty of skimmed milk left for the pig. Well, how marvellous, because of his clever idea, my dear poppets, mums and dads. With that disguise, he was able to milk Belinda. Very, very clever idea indeed. When Bessie came home, she wondered how her pink dress came to have mud on the hem. She almost said, "Who's been wearing my dress?" But old Tom had been the only one at home, and it couldn't have been old Tom, could it? Or could it be old Tom? And there she is there, Bessie's home at last, home sweet home, and all the chores on the farm have been attended to. The end, and that was called Belinda, Belinda the Marvellous Cow. Wonderful, wonderful book, and very fitting, I think, with the adventure that I've had, my dear poppets, the last couple of days. Well, we have come to an end of story time, of course, so I suppose I should have a chat to Stinky. And I must say, my dear poppets, he's been rather helpful over the last couple of days. He's been fixing my breakfast for me in the morning because of, oh, yes, it's still very sore if I touch my ankle, because of my ankle. And I look a bit funny, don't I, Stinky, hobbling around on these crutches? Yes, I do, I know. Well, Stinky, we've come to the end of story time, dear, so you know what we have to do next, don't you? That's right, we have to say goodbye to the poppets. Well, poppets, mums and dads, thank you so much for tuning in for story time, for sharing this wonderful story, Belinda, with Bo, Stinky, and of course myself. I hope you enjoyed it, because we certainly did. So perhaps you could read a book about a cow called Belinda, or make a marvellous story time cake with Belinda the cow on top. And as always, my dear ones, take care. Thank you for watching, and until next time, bye.